Welcome to REM Reads. We're so glad you're here. This is our first cycle, so to speak, and we hope you'll let us know how we're doing here in Season 1. Now is a good time to find your favorite sleeping position. Take a few deep breaths and just let go of the day. The only thing left on your schedule is to enjoy this time of rest and relaxation. We hope you enjoy the show. The excitement of a destination far outweighs the risk of stepping into a 735,000-pound metal tube with wings. In reality, turbulence can shake the anxiety into my consciousness, but once we've leveled off, any worry I have dissolves away like a complimentary cookie dipped into a paper cup of hot black coffee. While I could rattle off some things I don't love about airplanes, let's focus on what's good here. The view. Yes, I prefer a window seat. I usually find what's outside far more fascinating than any in-flight entertainment. Trees as giant clusters of broccoli, Midwestern fields laid out like a homemade quilt, and vanilla frosting on top of the highest elevations. Among the terracotta expanse below, rivers appear as snakes, twisting and slithering their way through the dry ground. If I'm lucky, the water catches the light just right and sparkles, as if to acknowledge my wonder from above for a mutual hello. A river is the natural stream of fresh water that flows on land or inside caves towards another body of water at a lower elevation, such as an ocean, lake, or another river. A river may run dry before reaching the end of its course if it runs out of water, or only flow during certain seasons. Rivers are regulated by the water cycle, the processes by which water moves around the earth. Water first enters rivers through precipitation, whether from rainfall, the runoff of water down a slope, the melting of glaciers or snow, or seepage from aquifers beneath the surface of the earth. Rivers flow in channeled water courses and merge in confluences to form drainage basins, areas where surface water eventually flows to a common outlet. Rivers have a great effect on the landscape around them. They may regularly overflow their banks and flood the surrounding area, spreading nutrients to the surrounding area. Sediment, or alluvium carried by rivers, shapes the landscape around it, forming deltas and islands where the flow slows down. Rivers rarely run in a straight line. Instead, they bend or meander. The locations of a river's banks can change frequently. Rivers get their alluvium from erosion, which carves rock into canyons and valleys. Rivers have sustained human and animal life for millennia, including the first human civilizations. The organisms that live around or in a river, such as fish, aquatic plants, and insects, have different roles. including processing organic matter and predation. Rivers have produced abundant resources for humans, including food, transportation, drinking water, and recreation. Humans have engineered rivers to prevent flooding, irrigate crops, perform work with water wheels, and produce hydroelectricity from dams. People associate rivers with life and fertility and have strong religious, political, social, and mythological attachments to them. A river is a natural flow of fresh water that flows on through land towards another body of water downhill. This flow can be into a lake, an ocean, or another river. A stream refers to water that flows in a natural channel, a geographic feature that can contain flowing water. A stream may also be referred to as a watercourse. The study of the movement of water as it occurs on Earth is called hydrology, and their effect on the landscape is covered by geomorphology. Rivers are a part of the water cycle, the continuous processes by which water moves about Earth. This means that all water that flows in rivers must ultimately come from precipitation. The sides of rivers have land that is at a higher elevation than the river itself, and in these areas, water flows downhill into the river. The headwaters of a river are the smaller streams that feed a river and make up the river's source. These streams may be small and flow rapidly down the sides of mountains. All of the land uphill of a river that feeds it with water in this way is in that river's drainage basin or watershed. A ridge of higher elevation land is what typically separates drainage basins. Water on one side of a ridge will flow into one set of rivers, and water on the other side will flow into another. One example of this is the continental divide of the Americas in the Rocky Mountains. Water on the western side of the divide flows into the Pacific Ocean, whereas water on the other side flows into the Atlantic Ocean. Not all precipitation flows directly into rivers. Some water seeps into underground aquifers. These, in turn, can still feed rivers via the water table, the groundwater beneath the surface of the land stored in the soil. Water flows into rivers in places where the river's elevation is lower than that of the water table. This phenomenon is why rivers can still flow even during times of drought. Rivers are also fed by the melting of snow glaciers present in higher elevation regions. In summer months, higher temperatures melt snow and ice, causing additional water to flow into rivers. Glacier melt can supplement the snow melt in times like the late summer when there may be less snow left to melt, helping to ensure that the rivers downstream of the glaciers have a continuous supply of water. Rivers flow downhill, with their direction determined by gravity. A common misconception holds that all or most rivers flow from north to south, but this is not true. As rivers flow downstream, they eventually merge to form larger rivers. A river that feeds into another is a tributary, and the place they meet is a confluence. Rivers must flow to lower altitudes due to gravity. The bed of a river is typically within a river valley between hills or mountains. Rivers flowing through an impermeable section of land, such as rocks, will erode the slopes on the sides of the river. When a river carves a plateau or a similar high elevation area, a canyon can form, with cliffs on either side of the river. Areas of a river with softer rock weather faster than areas with a harder rock, causing a difference in elevation between 2 points of a river. This can cause the formation of a waterfall as the river's flow falls down a vertical drop. A river in a permeable area does not exhibit this behavior and may even have raised banks due to sediment. Rivers also change their landscape. Rivers also change their landscape through their transportation of sediment, often known as alluvium, when applied specifically to rivers. This debris comes from erosion performed by the rivers themselves, debris swept into rivers by rainfall, as well as erosion caused by the slow movement of glaciers. The sand in deserts and the sediment that forms bar islands is from rivers. The particle size of the debris is gradually sorted by the river, with heavier particles like rocks sinking to the bottom and finer particles like sand or silt carried further downriver. This sediment may be deposited in river valleys or carried to the sea. Rivers rarely run in a straight direction, instead preferring to bend or meander. This is because any natural impediment to the flow of the river may cause the current to deflect in a different direction. When this happens, the alluvium carried by the river can build up against this impediment, redirecting the course of the river. The flow is then directed against the opposite bank of the river, which will erode into a more concave shape to accommodate the flow. The bank will still block the flow, causing it to reflect in the other direction. Thus, a bend in the river is created. Rivers may run through low, flat regions on their way to the sea. These places may have floodplains that are periodically flooded when there is a high level of water running through the river. These events may be referred to as wet seasons and dry seasons, when the flooding is predictable due to the climate. The alluvium carried by rivers, laden with minerals, is deposited into the floodplain when the banks spill over, providing new nutrients to the soil, allowing them to support human activity like farming, as well as a host of plant and animal life. Deposited sediment from rivers can form temporary or long-lasting fluvial islands. These islands exist in almost every river. About half of all waterways on Earth are intermittent rivers, which do not always have continuous flow of water throughout the year. This may be because an arid climate is too dry depending on the season to support a stream, or because a river is seasonally frozen in the winter, or in the headwaters of rivers and mountains, where snowmelt is required to fuel the river. These rivers can appear in a variety of climates and still provide a habitat for aquatic life and perform other ecological functions. Subterranean rivers may flow underground through flooded caves. This can happen in karst systems, where rock dissolves to form caves. These rivers provide a habitat for diverse microorganisms and have become an important target of study by microbiologists. Other rivers and streams have been covered over or converted to run in tunnels due to human development. These rivers do not typically host any life and are often used only for stormwater or flood control. One such example is the Hog River in Hartford, Connecticut, which was covered in the 1900s and now partially exists as an underground tunnel. While rivers may flow into lakes or man-made features such as reservoirs, the water they contain will always tend to flow down toward the ocean. However, If human activity siphons too much water away from a river or for other uses, the riverbed may run dry before reaching the sea. The outlet's mouth of a river can take several forms. Tidal rivers have their levels rise and fall with the tide. Since the levels of these rivers are often already at or near sea level, the flow of alluvium and the brackish water that flows in these rivers may be either upriver or downriver, depending on the time of day. Rivers that are not tidal may form deltas that continuously deposit alluvium into the sea from their mouths. Depending on the activity of the waves, the strength of the river, and the strength of the tidal current, the sediment can accumulate to form new land. When viewed from above, a delta can appear to take the form of several triangular shapes as the river mouth appears to fan out from the original coastline. In hydrology, a stream order is a positive integer used to describe the level of river branching of a drainage basin. Several systems of stream order exist, one of which is the Strahler number. In this system, the first tributaries of a river are first-order rivers. When two first-order rivers merge, the resulting river is a second order. If a river of a higher order and a lower order merge, the order is incremented from whichever of the previous rivers had a higher order. Stream order is correlated with, and thus can be used to predict certain data points related to rivers, such as the size of the drainage basin and the length of the channel. Creatures in a river ecosystem may be divided into many roles based on the river continuum concept. Shredders are organisms that consume this organic material. The role of a grazer or scraper organism is to feed on the algae that collects on rocks and plants. Collectors consume the detritus of dead organisms. Lastly, predators feed on living things to survive. The river can then be modeled by the availability of resources for each creature's role. A shady area with deciduous trees might experience the frequent deposits of organic matter in the form of leaves. In this type of ecosystem, collectors and shredders will be most active. As the river becomes deeper and wider, it may move slower and receive more sunlight. This supports invertebrates and a variety of fish, as well as scrapers feeding on algae. Further downstream, the river may get most of its energy from organic matter that was already processed upstream by collectors and shredders. Predators may be more active here, including fish that feed on plants, plankton, and other fish. River ecosystems have also been categorized based on the variety of aquatic life they sustain, also known as the fish zonation concept. Smaller rivers can only sustain smaller fish that can comfortably fit in its waters, whereas larger rivers can contain both small fish and large fish. This means that larger rivers can host a larger variety of species. The flow of a river can act as a means of transportation for plant and animal species, as well as a barrier. For example, the Amazon River is so wide in parts that the variety of species on either side of its basin are distinct. Some fish may swim upstream to spawn as part of a seasonal migration. Species that travel from the sea to breed in freshwater rivers are anadromous. Salmon are an anadromous fish that may die in the river after spawning, contributing nutrients back to the river ecosystem. Modern river engineering involves a large-scale collection of independent river engineering structures that have the goal of flood control, improved navigation, recreation, and ecosystem management. Many of these projects have the effect of normalizing the effects of rivers. The greatest floods are smaller and more predictable, and larger sections are open for navigation by boats and other watercraft. A major effect of river engineering has been a reduced sediment output of large rivers. For example, the Mississippi River produced 400 million tons of sediment per year. Due to the construction of reservoirs, sediment buildup in man-made levees, and the removal of natural banks replaced with revediments, this sediment output has been reduced by 60%. The most basic river projects involve the clearing of obstructions, like fallen trees. This can scale up to dredging, the excavation of sediment buildup on a channel to provide a deeper area for navigation. These activities require regular maintenance as the location of the riverbanks changes over time, floods bring foreign objects into the river, and natural sediment buildup continues. Artificial channels are often constructed to cut off winding sections of a river with a shorter path, or to direct the flow of a river in a straighter direction. This effect, known as channelization, has made the distance required to traverse the Missouri River in 72 miles shorter. Dikes are channels built perpendicular to the flow of the river beneath its surface. These help rivers flow straighter by increasing the speed of the water at the middle of the channel, helping to control floods. Levees are also used for this purpose. They can be thought of as dams constructed on the sides of rivers, meant to hold back water from flooding the surrounding area during periods of high rainfall. They are often constructed by building up the natural terrain with soil or clay. Some levees are supplemented with floodways, channels used to redirect floodwater away from farms and populated areas. Dams restrict the flow of water through a river. They can be built for navigational purposes, providing a higher level of water upstream for boats to travel in. They may also be used for hydroelectricity or power generation from rivers. Dams typically transform a section of the river behind them into a lake or reservoir. This can provide nearby cities with a predictable supply of drinking water. Hydroelectricity is desirable as a form of renewable energy that does not require any inputs beyond the river itself. Dam building reached a peak in the 1970s, when between 2 or 3 dams were completed every day and has since begun to decline. New dam projects are primarily focused in China, India, and other areas in Asia. The first civilizations of Earth were born on floodplains between 5,500 and 3,500 years ago. The freshwater, fertile soil, and transportation provided by rivers helped create the conditions for complex societies to emerge. 3 such civilizations were the Sumerians in the Tigris-Euphrates River system, the ancient Egyptian civilization in the Nile, and the Indus Valley Civilization on the Indus River. The desert climates of the surrounding areas made these societies especially reliant on rivers for survival, leading to people clustering in these areas to form the first cities. It is also thought that these civilizations were the first to organize the irrigation of desert environments for growing food. Growing food at scale allowed people to specialize in other roles, form hierarchies, and organize themselves in new ways, leading to the birth of civilization. In pre-industrial society, rivers were a source of transportation and abundant resources. Many civilizations depended on what resources were local to them to survive. Shipping of commodities, especially the floating of wood on rivers to transport it, was especially important. Rivers also were an important source of drinking water. For civilizations built around rivers, fish were an important part of the diet of humans. Some rivers supported fishing activities but were ill-suited to farming, such as those in the Pacific Northwest. Other animals that live in or near rivers, like frogs, mussels, and beavers, could provide food and valuable goods such as fur. Humans have been building infrastructure to use rivers for thousands of years. The Sa'd el-Kafara Dam near Cairo, Egypt, is an ancient dam built on the Nile 4,500 years ago. The ancient Roman civilization used aqueducts to transport water to urban areas. Spanish Muslims used mills and water wheels beginning in the 7th century. Between 130 and 1492, larger dams were built in Japan, Afghanistan, and India, including 20 dams higher than 49 feet. Canals began to be cut in Egypt as early as 3000 BC, and the mechanical shaduf began to be used to raise the elevation of water. Drought years harmed crop yields, and leaders of society were incentivized to ensure regular water and food availability to remain in power. Water wheels began to be used at least 2,000 years ago to harness the energy of rivers. Water wheels turn on an axle that can supply rotational energy to move water into aqueducts, work metal using a trip hammer, and grind grains with a millstone. In the Middle Ages, water mills began to automate many aspects of manual labor and spread rapidly. By 1300, there were at least 10,000 mills in England alone. A medieval water mill could do the work of 30 to 60 human workers. Water mills were often used in conjunction with dams to focus and increase the speed of the water. Water wheels continued to be used up and through the Industrial Revolution as a source of power for textile mills and other factories, but were eventually supplanted by steam power. Rivers became more industrialized with the growth of technology and the human population. As fish and water could be brought from elsewhere, and goods and people could be transported via railways, pre-industrial river uses diminished in favor of more complex uses. This meant that the local ecosystems of rivers needed less protection as humans became less reliant on them for their continued flourishing. River engineering began to develop projects that enabled industrial hydropower, canals for the more efficient movement of goods, as well as projects for flood prevention. River transportation has historically been significantly cheaper and faster than transportation by land. Rivers helped fuel urbanization as goods such as grain and fuel, and could be floated downriver to supply cities with resources. River transportation is also important for the lumber industry, as logs can be shipped via river. Countries with dense forests and networks of rivers like Sweden have historically benefited the most from this method of trade. The rise of highways and the automobile has made this practice less common. The 19th century saw canal building become more common, with the U.S. building 4,400 miles of canals by 1830. Rivers began to be used by cargo ships at a larger scale, and these canals were used in conjunction with river engineering projects like dredging and straightening to ensure the efficient flow of goods. One of the largest such projects is that of the Mississippi River, whose drainage basin covers 40% of the contiguous United States. The river was then used for shipping crops from the American Midwest and cotton from the American South to other states, as well as the Atlantic Ocean. The role of urban rivers has evolved from when they were a center of trade, food, and transportation to modern times when these uses are less necessary. Rivers remain central to the cultural identity of cities and nations. Famous examples include the River Thames' relationship to London, the Seine to Paris, and the Hudson River to New York City. As a natural barrier, rivers are often used as a border between countries, cities, and other territories. For example, the Lamari River in New Guinea separates the Angu and the Fore people in New Guinea. The two cultures speak different languages and rarely mix. 23% of international borders are large rivers. The traditional northern border of the Roman Empire was the Danube, a river that today forms the border of Hungary and Slovakia. Since the flow of a river is rarely static, the exact location of a river border may be called into question by countries. Up to 60% of fresh water used by countries comes from rivers that cross international borders. The importance of rivers throughout human history has given them an association with life and fertility. They have also become associated with the reverse, death and destruction, especially through floods. This power has caused rivers to have a central role in religion, ritual, and mythology. In Greek mythology, the underworld is bordered by several rivers. Ancient Greeks believed that the souls of those who perished had to be borne across the river Styx on a boat by Charon in exchange for money. Rivers also appear in descriptions of paradise in Abrahamic religions, beginning with the story of Genesis. A river beginning in the Garden of Eden waters the garden and then splits into 4 rivers that flow to provide water to the world. These rivers include the Tigris and Euphrates, and 2 rivers that are possibly apocryphal, but may refer to the Nile and the Ganges. The Quran describes these 4 rivers as flowing with water, milk, wine, and honey, respectively. The book of Genesis also contains a story of a great flood. Similar myths are present in the Epic of Gilgamesh, Sumerian mythology, and in other cultures. The act of water working to cleanse humans in a ritualistic sense has been compared to the Christian ritual of baptism, famously the baptism of Jesus in the Jordan River. Floods also appear in Norse mythology, where the world is said to emerge from a void that 11 rivers flowed into. Aboriginal Australian religion and Mesoamerican mythology also have stories of floods, some of which contain no survivors, unlike the Abrahamic flood. Along with mythological rivers, religions have also cared for specific rivers as sacred rivers. The ancient Celtic religion saw rivers as goddesses. The Nile had many gods attached to it. The tears of the goddess Isis were said to be the cause of the river's yearly flooding itself personified by the goddess Hapi. Many African religions regard certain rivers as the originator of life. Some sacred rivers have religious prohibitions attached to them, such as not being allowed to drink from them or ride in a boat along certain stretches. In these religions, such as that of the Altai in Russia, the river is considered a living being that must be afforded respect. Rivers are some of the most sacred places in Hinduism. There is archaeological evidence that mass ritual bathing in rivers at least 5,000 years ago in the Indus River Valley. While most rivers in India are revered, the Ganges is most sacred. The river has a central role in various Hindu myths, and its water is said to have properties of healing as well as absolution from sins. Hindus believe that when the cremated remains of a person is released into the Ganges, their soul is released from the mortal world. Today, the surface of Mars does not have liquid water. All water on Mars is part of permafrost ice caps or trace amounts of water vapor in the atmosphere. However, there is evidence that rivers flowed on Mars for at least 100,000 years. The Hellas Planitia is a crater left behind by an impact from an asteroid. It has sedimentary rock that was formed 3.7 billion years ago, and lava fields that are 3.3 billion years old. High-resolution images of the surface of the plain show evidence of a river network and even river deltas. These images reveal channels formed in the rock, recognized by geologists who study rivers on Earth as being formed by rivers, as well as bench and slope landforms, outcroppings of rock that show evidence of river erosion. Not only do these formations suggest that rivers once existed, but that they flowed for extensive time periods and were part of a water cycle that involved precipitation. The term flumen in planetary geology refers to channels on Saturn's moon Titan that may carry liquid. Titan's rivers flow with liquid methane and ethane. There are river valleys that exhibit wave erosion, seas, and oceans. Scientists hope to study these systems to see how coasts erode without the influence of human activity, something that isn't possible when studying terrestrial rivers.